You've had it before. A thought. So sudden, so strange. It didn't feel like you. Maybe it was dark. Maybe it was absurd. Maybe it was just out of nowhere. And the first instinct is fear. Why would I think this? But here's the paradox. What if you didn't? Let's slow down. We like to believe our mind is private, a sealed room, a fortress of identity. But thoughts appear like guests, uninvited, unexpected, and sometimes unsettling. If a thought can appear without warning, how much control do we really have? This is the first crack in the illusion. We don't own every thought. We only notice them. And when we notice them, we start to believe they define us. But maybe, thoughts are not objects we possess. They are movements. They are waves passing through. Imagine your mind as a sky. Sometimes the sky is clear. Sometimes clouds drift in. Do you say the sky owns the cloud? Of course not. The cloud passes through. So why do we believe the mind owns its thoughts? Here's the uncomfortable truth. Not all thoughts belong to you. Some are echoes. Some are borrowed. Some are the residue of what you saw, what you heard, what you touched long ago. They live in memory, but they rise without permission. Have you ever caught yourself thinking something shocking, so far from your values, and then you recoil? That recoil is proof. The thought is not your essence. It's just noise surfacing in consciousness. The river carries many things downstream. Not every branch or leaf belongs to you. Now pause. Here's the Taoist twist. In Taoism, the mind is not a machine. It is not a closed box. It is a flow of qi, receiving impressions, storing echoes, translating energies into words. When a thought intrudes, it may not be yours. It may simply be the trace of energy passing by. Think about walking into a crowded market. You catch fragments of conversations, snippets of emotion, a laugh, a shout, a sigh. None of it belongs to you, but you hear it, and for a moment, it enters your awareness. We forget the mind is a marketplace too. So when that weird thought appears, don't panic. Don't fuse with it. Just ask, is this mine? Or is this something passing through? Even asking that question changes everything. It creates space, and space is freedom. Here's the deeper Taoist insight. The self is not the thought. The self is the one who notices, the observer, the witness. Thoughts may intrude, but they cannot stay unless you host them. The Tao flows. And you are the flow, not the noise riding it. So the next time it happens, don't fight, don't fear, simply watch. A thought comes, a thought goes, the Tao remains. And in that stillness, you begin to see. The weird thought was never you. It was just a visitor. And you are the sky. We were taught to treat thoughts like things, as if they are solid, as if they are ours to keep. But in reality, thoughts are currents. They are movement. They are flow. Picture a river. It never stops. It bends. It swirls. It carries what it touches. Your mind is not a storage box. It is a riverbed, constantly shaped by what moves through. Yet we act as if thoughts are objects. We grab them. We clutch them. We say, this is mine. And once we claim it, we start to believe it defines us. But the Tao reminds us, you don't need to own what was never still. Here's the shift. Instead of asking, why did I think this? Ask instead, what current did this ride in on? That question points to the flow. It reminds you, thoughts are events, not possessions. Science whispers the same truth. Neuroscience shows that much of what arises in the brain is automatic, triggered, mechanical. A sound, a smell, a half-remembered face, and suddenly a thought appears. Not chosen, not designed, just generated.
If thoughts are generated, then they're more like sparks. They flicker, they vanish, they pass into silence. And yet, how often do we confuse the spark with the fire of identity? The Tao offers a softer view. A thought is like wind across tall grass. It bends the stalks, but the stalks return. A thought is like rain on a pond. It ripples the surface, but the pond remains whole. The current is never the pond itself. It only passes through. This is why meditation feels impossible at first. Sit in silence, and suddenly you realize the river never stops. A memory, a worry, a random word, a flash of image, all rushing in, all demanding attention. And yet, if you don't cling, they pass. Here's the paradox. The moment you try to stop the current, you give it power. The moment you try to push it away, it circles back stronger. But when you notice it, without grasping, it dissolves. Because it was never solid to begin with. So what does it mean to live this way? It means freedom. It means lightness. If thoughts are currents, you don't need to resist every wave. You don't need to identify with every ripple. You are the riverbed, not the passing debris. Imagine this. A negative thought enters. I'm not enough. If you see it as an object, you carry it, you feed it, you build a story around it. But if you see it as a current, you let it pass. It becomes what it always was, temporary movement. The Tao teaches non-grasping, Wu Wei, effortless action. Applied to thought, it means watching without owning. It means allowing the mind's weather to change on its own. Clouds move, rivers bend, winds shift, and so do thoughts. So the next time a strange idea appears, remember this. It is not a stone. It is not a chain. It is a current. You can step aside. You can let it move through. You don't need to build a dam. The Tao is water, and so is the mind. That's the invitation. Be the witness, not the catcher. Be the flow, not the object. When you live this way, thoughts lose their weight. And the weird ones? They lose their sting. Because they were never yours to hold. Only currents to watch, passing through the vastness of who you are. Here's the hidden truth. Your thoughts are not only yours, they belong to a field shared by every mind. Think of it like air. You breathe it in, you breathe it out. It never belongs to just you. Thoughts are the same. They circulate. They drift. They travel from one consciousness to another. We've been taught to believe the mind is locked inside the skull, private, sealed, untouchable. But the Tao suggests something wider. Mind is not a box. It is a cloud. And clouds overlap. Ever walked into a room and felt heavy before anyone spoke? That heaviness was not yours. It was the collective atmosphere, a shared vibration. Ever laughed uncontrollably because everyone else was laughing? That joy was contagious, passed through the field. Science offers clues. Neuroscience shows that mirror neurons fire when we see another's action or emotion. We simulate each other almost instantly. Psychology calls it groupthink, social contagion, collective mood. But Tao calls it the great web of qi. Qi is not bound by skin. It flows. It resonates. It links. Just as wind moves across a field of grass, qi moves across a field of minds.
And so a thought you call mine may have entered from someone standing nearby, or even from someone you've never met, but who shares the field at a distance. This is why cultures develop myths at the same time, why inventions appear in multiple places at once, why dreams repeat across people who never meet. The collective mind is not imagination, it is field. But here's the challenge. If you don't know this, you take ownership. You carry what is not yours. A violent image, a sudden sadness, a sharp desire. You assume it belongs to you. And then you build a story around that false claim. The Tao offers release. See thoughts as echoes in a vast canyon. Your mind is only one wall, but the sound bounces everywhere. Or see them as ripples in a pond. Your stone is not the only one dropped. Other hands throw too. The water moves in patterns that belong to the whole, not the individual. This shift changes everything. When a strange thought appears, you don't have to panic. You don't have to analyze endlessly. You can simply ask, did this come from me or from the field? And often, the answer is the field. Practical example. You wake up anxious, without reason. No deadlines, no conflict, no cause. But the city you live in is tense. The air is charged. The collective field is heavy. You feel it, but it's not you. Or you suddenly feel joy, a lightness, a brightness, for no reason at all. But someone nearby is celebrating, radiating gratitude. The field carries it. You catch it. And in that catching, you smile. The Tao invites awareness, not isolation, not retreat, awareness. To know the field is to stop blaming yourself for every passing current. It is also to stop claiming every bright insight as your own invention, because inspiration, too, belongs to the field. What does this mean for living? It means humility. It means openness. When wisdom comes, you can bow. You can say, this came through me, not from me. When darkness comes, you can breathe. You can say, this passed into me, but it is not mine to keep. The shared field is both gift and burden. It is why pain spreads, but also why healing spreads. It is why despair multiplies, but also why compassion multiplies. The Tao says, we are not separate rivers. We are one ocean, and the waves belong to all. So next time you notice a thought too strange, too sharp, too heavy to be yours, remember this. You are an antenna, not a container. You are a receiver, not a prison. The thought is not yours. It is the field's. And once you know that, you are free. A strange thought arrives, out of nowhere, sharp, unfamiliar, even disturbing. What do? Most people panic. They tighten, they judge. They say, this means something about me. But the Tao teaches, a thought is only a visitor, not a verdict. Imagine a house. You live inside it. Your mind is that house. Every day, visitors knock on the door. Some are welcome, some are not. Some stay for tea, some leave instantly. But none of them are the house itself. A weird thought is just such a visitor. It knocks, it enters, and then, if you don't chain it down, it leaves. The problem is not the thought. The problem is identification. When a thought arrives, and you say, this is me, you have already handed it the keys. You let the visitor move in permanently. The Tao suggests another way. Let the thought come, see it, bow to it, and let it go. Witness without fear. Think of the sky. Clouds drift across it. Some are white, some are dark, some storm, some glow. But the sky never resists. The sky never clings. Your mind is the same. Or think of a train station. Trains arrive, trains depart. You stand on the platform. You don't have to board every train.
especially the ones heading where you don't want to go. Weird thoughts are like that. Passing trains. You can wave without riding. Fear gives them power. When you resist a thought, you feed it. When you fight a thought, you tie yourself to it. But when you watch it calmly, it dissolves. This is the Tao's art of non-resistance. Example: a violent image flashes. You're shocked, ashamed. You wonder, am I broken? But awareness changes everything. You see the image as a passing spark, not as a reflection of your essence. You breathe, you let it drift, and in seconds, it vanishes. Another example: a sudden thought says, what if I fail? What if I lose everything? You feel panic rising, but then you remember, this is only a visitor. It is not prophecy. It is not destiny. You let it pass. The panic fades, and you return to calm. The key is simple. Witness. Do not fuse. Do not fear. A thought without attachment is just sound, just wind. Some ask, but what if the thought returns? It will. Visitors often come back, but each time you can choose again. See it. Bow. Release. Over time, the visitor grows weaker, and eventually, it stops knocking. The Tao reminds us, your essence is not your thoughts. Your essence is awareness. Awareness is the space. Thoughts are the waves. The waves come and go. The space remains. This practice is not suppression. Suppression is resistance. Suppression is fear. This practice is witnessing. Open eyes, open heart, letting what is come, and letting what comes go. Strange thoughts do not make you strange. Dark thoughts do not make you dark. Passing thoughts do not define you. They only test your ability to remain clear, to remain open, to remain free. And here's the gift. When you learn to watch without fear, thoughts lose their claws. They lose their teeth. They stop being rulers. They become ripples, barely touching you. And then, for the first time, you are free to choose which thoughts deserve your energy and which thoughts deserve the wind. This is the art of witnessing. This is the Tao of letting thought be. And it begins with one simple act. The next time a weird thought comes, instead of saying, "This is me," say, "This is only passing through," and then let it pass. To the Taoist mind, thoughts are not just random sparks. They are movements of qi. Qi is life force, breath, energy, the invisible river that flows through all things. It animates the body. It shapes the mind. It connects the seen and the unseen. When a thought arises, it is qi in motion, a wave, a ripple, a subtle vibration. This means thoughts are not locked inside your skull. They belong to a field. They move in a current. Think of wind. It does not belong to you. It passes through you. It touches everyone. The Taoists believe that thoughts are much the same. They are currents of qi moving through the human field. This explains why sometimes a thought doesn't feel like yours, because it isn't. It is simply a breeze passing through your awareness. But there is more. Taoist masters spoke of spirits, not as ghosts in the dark, but as subtle intelligences, forms of energy, beings of qi. Some are ancestral, some are natural, some are cosmic, and sometimes their presence stirs the mind. Their whisper appears as thought. Imagine you are walking by a forest. You suddenly feel awe, or a strange sadness, or a line of poetry springs unbidden to your lips. The Taoist view would say, the spirit of the forest just moved through you. Its qi blended with yours. Or picture sitting at the grave of an ancestor. You think of something they would have said,
The exact words, the exact tone. Is it only memory, or is it qi? The Taoist answer, both, because memory itself is a form of spirit that lives in energy. This does not mean every thought is mystical. Many are just noise, static, leftover ripples from your own mind's turbulence. But Taoists teach, the more still your qi, the more clearly you sense where a thought truly comes from. Still water reflects, turbulent water distorts. If your qi is calm, you can see the origin of thought. You can tell, this comes from me, or this flows from outside. In Taoist practice, meditation was not only silence, it was energy alignment, slowing the breath, softening the body, letting qi flow without blockage. Then, the mind became clear. Thoughts came and went like fish in a pond. Some were yours, some were not, but all could be seen. There's also the Taoist idea of resonance. Qi attracts qi. Energy finds its match. If your heart carries grief, you may resonate with grief around you. You may even catch the thoughts of sorrow that float nearby. If your spirit is joyful, you draw joy, you amplify joy. You become a beacon that attracts thoughts of light. So the Taoist path is not to deny thought, nor to fear thought, but to tune your qi, to align your field. Because when your energy is balanced, the thoughts you receive shift too. It's like tuning a radio. If the dial is off, you catch static, distortion, noise. But when you find the right frequency, the music flows clearly, beautiful, effortless. Your mind works the same. The clearer your qi, the clearer the thoughts that visit you. In this view, even weird thoughts can be understood. They are not punishments, not signs of corruption, but signs of imbalance, or signs of resonance with energy that isn't yours. This is why Taoist healing always included energy work, breath practices, movement like qigong, meditation with awareness of qi, because balance the qi and you balance the mind. Now imagine the implications. If qi connects us all, then thoughts are not private possessions. They are shared weather, shared current. You may pick up what another releases. You may release what another picks up. The field is bigger than the self. This is not a reason for fear. It is a reason for compassion. Because if you feel a dark thought and recognize, this is not mine, you can also say, someone nearby is carrying this pain. And instead of panic, you respond with softness. You breathe with empathy. This transforms the current. This is Taoist alchemy. So the teaching is simple. Thoughts are qi. Qi is movement. Movement is connection. You are not separate. You are not broken. You are part of a living field. When you feel a strange thought, ask gently, is this mine? Or is this simply passing through? Either way, the answer is compassion. The Tao says, the 10,000 things rise and fall within the same river. Your thoughts too. They rise, they fall, they flow. You are not the riverbank. You are the river, and the river is endless.
Now let's shift from Taoist wisdom to modern science. Because science, in its own language, has begun to notice what the ancients whispered. First, the brain. It is not silent. It hums with electricity. Each neuron fires, sending sparks, waves, rhythms. This electricity creates fields, measurable fields, fields that extend beyond your skull. Neuroscientists call them brain waves. Alpha, beta, theta, delta. Different frequencies, different states of mind. But think carefully. A frequency is not a wall. It travels. It radiates. Your thoughts literally radiate as waves of energy. This is not mysticism. It is physics. Every electrical activity produces a field. Your heart does. Your muscles do. And so does your brain. So when you think, You broadcast. Now, what happens when two people sit together? Science shows their brainwaves can synchronize. This is called neural entrainment. Your rhythm aligns with mine. My rhythm adjusts to yours. This is why you feel calmer near a calm person. Why you feel anxious near an anxious one. Their brain is literally broadcasting a signal, and your brain tunes in. Suddenly, Taoist resonance doesn't sound so mystical. It sounds like biology, like physics, qi in ancient words, frequency in modern ones. But it doesn't end there. Studies show that emotions are contagious, not metaphorically, literally. Your facial micro-expressions, your tone, your heart rhythm, they shift the field around you. Others pick it up without realizing. It is as if we are all antennas and transmitters. Now consider this. A weird thought arises. Science could say, it was not yours. It was picked up, like a radio signal. The Taoists would nod and smile. They already knew. But science also sees something else. Your gut has neurons. Your heart has neurons. These are sometimes called the second brain and the heart brain. They don't just follow orders from the head. They send signals back. So some of your weird thoughts aren't even from outside. They may come from your body, from your gut microbiome, from hidden processes you cannot see. You experience them as sudden ideas or sudden moods.
This means thoughts are not isolated. They are whole body events. They are whole field events. Your body is a transmitter. Your mind is a receiver. Your field is a bridge. Now, imagine groups. When a crowd gathers, their fields overlap. Their signals amplify. This is why mobs move as one. This is why meditation circles produce collective calm. Science calls it coherence. Taoists call it harmony. Two names, one truth. Even stranger, quantum physics suggests that particles can be entangled, linked across distance. Information moves without signal, without wires. Some scientists whisper maybe thoughts could behave like this too. Taoists would laugh gently. Of course, qi is everywhere. Connection is natural. So here we are. The Tao says, thoughts are qi. Science says, thoughts are fields. Different words, same insight. Both point to a universe where your mind is not sealed, not solitary. You are porous. You are open. You are part of the signal. And what does this mean for your daily life? It means compassion matters, because what you feel spreads, what you think ripples outward, and it means discernment matters, because not every thought you feel is yours. Some are borrowed, some are absorbed, some are passing through. Science, then, doesn't kill the mystery. It deepens it. It tells us you are an emitter, you are a receiver, you are a living antenna, and the Tao whispers, yes, that's what qi always was. So the next time a strange thought appears, pause, smile, ask, is this a signal passing through, or is this my own resonance echoing back? Either way, you are not trapped. You are free to choose what frequency you live in. So now the question becomes practical. If thoughts can float, if signals overlap, if weird ideas are not always yours, how do you know? The first tool is silence. In silence, you notice what echoes and what fades. A thought that belongs to you usually deepens in stillness. It roots, it grows, it feels familiar, like a voice you've always known. A thought that is not yours often fades when you stop moving. It dissolves, like smoke in the wind. The second tool is body check. Your body knows before your mind decides. When a thought arises, ask, how does my chest feel? How does my stomach feel? How does my skin react? If it is yours, the body aligns. Even if it is uncomfortable, it feels coherent. If it is not yours, the body hesitates. It feels alien, like a coat that doesn't quite fit. The third tool is resonance. Every thought carries a tone, like music. Some tones harmonize with your being. They feel like home. Others clash. They grind. They jar. That grinding sensation, that subtle dissonance, is often the sign that the thought is borrowed. The fourth tool is memory trace. Ask yourself, where did this thought begin? If you can trace it to an experience, a memory, a conversation, it likely belongs to you. If you cannot trace it, if it feels like it just appeared out of nowhere, it may not be yours, or it may be from deeper layers of the unconscious, still mysterious. The fifth tool is repetition. Your true thoughts tend to return again and again. They form patterns. They weave into your story. Borrowed thoughts are sporadic. They arrive suddenly, loud but brief, like static on a radio. If the thought never repeats, it may have never been yours. The sixth tool is creativity. Ask, does this thought expand me? Does it open new doors? Your authentic thoughts often bring expansion. Even if they scare you, they carry possibility. Borrowed thoughts often shrink you. They loop, they trap, they close doors. If a thought makes you smaller, it might not be yours. Now, Taoist wisdom adds something else. They say, true thoughts feel alive. They have qi, they pulse, they breathe. False or borrowed thoughts feel thin, hollow, like shells without a spirit. This is subtle, but once you tune in, you can tell. Let's make it even simpler. A short checklist. Does this thought feel rooted? Does it harmonize with my tone? Can I trace its origin? Does it repeat with meaning? Does it expand me? If most are yes, it's likely yours. If most are no, it's likely borrowed. But here's the deeper teaching. It may not matter, because even if a thought is not yours, you can still choose what to do with it. You can thank it. You can release it. You can transform it, like a musician turning random noise into music. This is the Tao's secret. Ownership is less important than flow. A thought may not be yours, but if it arrives, you can work with it, shape it, turn it into wisdom. You are not a prisoner of thoughts, whether yours or not. You are the artist, the alchemist, the chooser. So the practice is twofold. First, discernment. Learn to notice which thoughts belong to you. Second, sovereignty. No matter the origin, you choose what you amplify, what you embody, what you act upon. Because in the end, your life is not shaped by every thought that passes. It is shaped by the ones you accept, the ones you nurture, the ones you embody. Those become your path, your Tao. So next time a weird thought enters, pause. Check. Listen. Is it rooted? Does it resonate? Does it expand? If yes, honor it. If no, smile and let it pass, like a bird that landed for a moment then flew away.
So here we arrive. The final question. Not just, are these thoughts mine, but something deeper. How do I live as a clear channel? A clear channel is not empty. It is open. It allows. It receives. It transmits. But it does not cling. It does not hoard. It does not confuse every passing cloud for its own sky. To live as a channel, you learn the art of flow. Thoughts come. Thoughts go. You listen. You feel. You choose. Without fear. Without judgment. Without attachment. Think of it like water. The river does not panic when leaves fall into it. The river simply carries them along. Some sink, some float, some dissolve. But the river remains the river, clear, moving, alive. So how do we cultivate this clarity? The Tao offers several practices. First, breath. Every inhale is receiving. Every exhale is letting go. When a strange thought enters, don't fight. Breathe. Inhale, acknowledge. Exhale, release. This simple rhythm keeps you clear. Second, grounding. Stand on the earth. Feel your feet. Feel the weight of your body. When grounded, borrowed thoughts lose power. They cannot root where the soil is already steady. Third, stillness. Meditation, prayer, quiet. In stillness, your true thoughts shine brighter. They reveal themselves. Noise reveals nothing. Silence reveals everything. Fourth, alignment. Ask, does this thought align with my values? With my heart? With my Tao? If yes, carry it forward. If no, let it drift. Fifth, gratitude. Even for borrowed thoughts, even for the weird ones. Because every thought, whether yours or not, is part of the great conversation of life. The universe is speaking, through whispers, through echoes, through ideas. Gratitude keeps you open without being overwhelmed. Now listen carefully. Living as a clear channel is not about rejecting the world. It is about participating wisely, receiving without drowning, choosing without clinging. It is balance. It is Tao. And here's the paradox. When you stop worrying about which thoughts are yours and which are not, you actually become freer. Because freedom is not control. Freedom is flow. And in flow, you discover something vast. You are more than the thinker. You are the space in which thought appears. The Taoists call it the empty vessel. Zen calls it beginner's mind. Mystics call it the open heart. Different names, same truth. When you live as a clear channel, you are not trapped in thought. You are carried by Tao. So let me leave you with a simple practice. When a thought arrives, say quietly, "Hello, guest." When a thought departs, say softly, "Goodbye, guest." Treat thoughts as visitors. Honor them, but do not mistake them for the host. You are the host. You are the house. You are the sky in which all weather passes. This is the secret the Tao whispers. You are not your thoughts. You are the channel through which life sings. Stay open. Stay clear. Stay free. And the Tao will move through you like a river of light. So the next time a weird thought appears, don't panic. Don't cling. Don't question too hard. Smile. Breathe. Let it flow. Because in truth, it was never fully yours. It was never fully not yours. It was part of the great current, the current of mind, the current of Tao. And you are not drowning. You are flowing. You are the river.